Okay, so this video I'm going to be building a table set. This is a standard table set, our farmhouse furniture. I do a ton of these, and I typically try to have a couple sets of these in natural wood laying around. That way when people order, I just have to paint and stain. But right now these have to be built from scratch since I'm falling a little behind. So this set is going to be two end tables, which will be 20 by 20 by 24. And the coffee table will be 36 by 20 by 18. That's our standard size. You can make any size you like, but that's just the default size that we recommend, or it's the most popular dimensions for the price range. So these are all be poplar. We also could do a frame and lumber, but typically I try to steer the clients into poplar, even though it's a little more work for me. It's just a better quality wood, in my opinion. It just looks a little nicer and stains and paints real nice. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to mill up the table, the legs for the coffee table and the end tables, and that will give me my exact dimensions when I start to measure out my stretchers and aprons. So let's go through the steps here. Usually, typically the miter saw, jointer, table saw, planer, and depending on how good a shape or bad a shape the wood's in. So here we're just going to go through the default steps and get this stuff milled up. And we're going to be repeating some of these steps since we'll be doing the coffee table layout first, then we'll do the end tables and kind of go back and forth. I do try to speed up the process here. It's a pretty long video, but it's a pretty detailed video, and hopefully you can learn something from this if you're looking to get into this type of work, especially for a good side hustle or a good full-time hustle. As long as you're very, very busy, these are pretty enjoyable to build. I love doing this kind of stuff. It's fun for me, and it's all about consistency with this that makes you stand out from others. All right, let's go. Let's start the build. "30 inches. 14. 30 and 14. Get one straight edge. Okay, so the frames is milled up for the coffee table. Now we'll do the end tables, same exact steps, just different measurements. And we're going to concentrate on the coffee table mainly here, but this is all the frame pieces. We have our legs, 4 legs, we have 4 side stretcher and aprons, and we have our front and backs. All right, so that's how we're going to lay this out. Have a little reveal there. So I'm going to flip these over. We're going to use pocket screws for this. These end tapes at least, and we're going to try to take the side that's, you know, they're all both nice, but we're going to take the most least attractive side. Any side that has like knots or divots, we'll just put that face up, and that will be where the pocket screws go. These are all pretty solid though, for the most part. I don't see any defects or anything. So these are the ones we're gonna put the pocket holes on the side of these aprons and stretchers here. So hopefully it won't be able to tell after we're sanding it all down. We'll sand this to about 120 grit eventually. Okay, so let's assemble these frames for these end tables. We'll start with these. So we have our top stretcher. As you see here, it's a flat top. It's not chamfered. The bottom of it, half will be chamfered. And the bottom, both sides, top and bottom are chamfered. That's how we know they're in the bottom pieces. Then we have our legs, all four sides are chamfered. Alright, so we're just going to use a little glue, some pocket screws, a square clamp, a little hammer just in case, and obviously we need our combination square, which will set our height at about, our toe kick about 3.5 inches. And that's what we'll use for our bottom. So these are things we're going to use. We're going to be using pocket screws for this, nice and simple. We're not going to over clamp. We're going to clamp it, but we're not going to over clamp. We're also going to use these little spacers here. These will set our shadow line and reveals. So we'll put these underneath the top apron or stretcher here, whatever you want to call it. And we'll line up the legs, do that lined up. Keep the bottom in place, that way we make sure we keep everything as square as possible. Tap a little glue. Don't have to go crazy. Get it nice and square. I like the clamp at the top. It's also good to put a clamp to hold it down, but since these have these shadow lines, or the depth is so different, they're not like lined up top to bottom, I like to use like a regular squeeze clamp. Just keep them tight. Left to right, make sure our shadow line's set. Tap this in, like that. That's square, perfect. Tighten it up. Throw some pocket screws in. You don't over tighten these out, because that can pull them out square. That's what they don't like about pocket joinery. Okay, so then we get the top piece on. Go turn this around. Close the bottom piece out. So that's the tight. Clip in the glue line. Alright, so this is going to be our bottom piece here. Take this out. Keep our spacers down here. Take our combination square. This will line this up. That's perfect there. And that's perfect there. I'm not going to make it too tight yet because I might adjust these. Good. Good. See if it's square. And that's perfect there. Okay. Let's make sure these stayed. I always like double, triple check these because if these aren't straight, your legs will wobble. So now we'll do a final tighten and we'll throw some pucks. Screws in. This side might have to tighten. No, that's square. Perfect. Alright, so we have one frame built. A couple more to go. Okay, so all the table frames are the side, or I'm sorry, these are the fronts and backs are built. These are poplar. I think poplar is a very nice wood. It paints and stains well, and it's clean. These aren't your frame and lumber. These are good alternative to frame and lumber, I think, and they look clean, even natural. They look, I think, nice. I mean, this is one of my favorite woods. It just works well. I mean, it does gunk up your planer a little bit more than your hardwoods, but it's also more forgiving blade wise. So these are built. Now we're going to assemble these together with the other stretchers and aprons and put these together finally. All right, let's go. All right. Our spacers. So that will be our front and back, and then we'll just glue, clamp, square up, and put these together. So let's go. 7. Just like that. Should do it. All right. It's not a true V, but it's close enough. Tables are assembled. Now we're going to put our bottom cleats in for the bottom shelves. Okay, so here we're going to grab the bottom cleat. We cut these at 15 inches. These will lay across the bottom here. That will hold the bottom shelves, one on each side, front and back. All right, so let's cut these up. Like that. We'll put a couple brad nails in. We're also going to put some screws into countersink. Alright, the bottom shelves are here. Like this. Okay, so both these tables are pretty much assembled frame-wise. So we got to do a little sanding and clean up. Obviously, we're going to be painting and staining. We got to do the top, bottom shelves and tops, which will be this poplar up here. We have a ton of this. It's only 4 5/4, so we're going to make do. It's all I could get from the sawmill right now. So we're going to make do with that, and we're also going to be doing a coffee table with this order too. I'm still debating I almost want to ask, should I do dominoes or pocket screws like I did with these? Pocket screws is a little faster. So I'm debating. I may just do pocket. We'll see. That wood's laid out right there on top of the planer, and I haven't laid out how I'm going to join it yet. All right, so these are pretty much done. They came out real nice so far. This poplar is a real nice, I think, furniture grade wood. Now, it's not the hardest wood, but it looks good. It's nice, neutral, and it paints well. So I won't say painting it, because it does look nice and smooth. I barely have to sand it, really. I'm just going to have to touch up some of these glue joints. Here's a couple little rough dried up glue, so about to sand that. And we use a little detail sander back there for that. And then we'll throw the 80 grit DeWalt on the rest, and then we'll throw the Festool on it later to finish it up before we paint. Then we'll do some scuffing. All right, but that's it for this. So we're going to call it a night for now. These are built, and now we're going to do the coffee table next and mill up the tops and bottoms. Bigger shadow line, just to the legs. If you ever have a frame that's not 1000% square, if you don't want to sand the bottom feet, this came out to 37 and 7/8, and this came out this way, just under 38, so 38 inches. So it was literally off like a 16th. But I'm just going to put a clamp on here, just to see if I square it up. And you can see it's sitting more flush now. You just want to make sure you don't pull the joints apart, so don't over tighten it. Just get a nice little squeeze out, nice little pressure, and then we'll hopefully square it up. And if not, then we'll sand the bottom feet down later. We're going to run a chamfer anyway. We still have to sand all 3 tables down still anyway. All right, that's about it for this. We're going to let this sit. We're going to put the upside down V's on a little bit and put the bottom cleats in like we did the end tables, and then we're going to do the bottom tops, and then we'll get ready to sand, paint, and stain. So we have these little angles here, so we're going to cut a little corner off these pieces here, just like a 20-degree angle, real small, This makes so they'll fit in here. All right, let's go. Okay, so you can see here, fits right flush against the edges here. We'll do the other side. Put this in. Do the other side now. All right, so we're going to laminate the top. We'll run these to the planer down the bottom while that's doing that, and then we'll finish the end tables. Oh, we'll cut the extra off later. So you can see here, this track saw really makes a nice straight cut. You don't even need the joiner. I'm going to run this end through the joiner. Actually, I don't even have to. I'm going to run this through the table saw each end just to get a straight edge, because I'm going to come down the final width of 10 inches. So they're going to be 20 altogether. Right now they're set at like 22 because I cut them at each at 11 roughly on the track saw earlier. So now we're just going to clean them up to the final 10 inches, and then we'll cut them in the final length after we laminate. And we're just going to use some glue and biscuits for this. All right, let's go. The idea of these are they just go into your biscuit. You just cut out, and these just slide with the wood movement over time, so it keeps from tops from splitting, prevents. So it just kind of fluctuates back and forth like that. The slide. If you look closely, you see some little scratch marks here. We're going to try to water pop this and then sand it while it's wet to see if we can raise the grain and get the little scratches out before we put the finish sander on. All right, let's go. Okay, now we'll measure out our 20. Okay, so technically this order could be done. I typically like to build a couple of these sets a week when I'm caught up, and I try to keep them in storage natural. Just that way when somebody orders them, I could just paint and stain or leave natural however they like them. But this set is dedicated for a client, so we will be painting these. These are, like I said, our farmhouse, our mid-range farmhouse line that I make. I make a lot of these, sell a lot of these. And like I said, I used to try to keep some on hand, but wasn't fortunate enough to do that. So we're showing kind of from the beginning to the end. So we are going to be painting these. We're just going to be painting it we're going to start with a primer, and then we're going to finish with 2 coats of paint. And we're going to do a little scuff sand between coats of the primer and paint. So it's just something I like to do. Even though there's a farmhouse rustic, I try to make them, as clean as possible. Obviously, some imperfections, some knots, some divots. Things like that. It's pocket hole joinery and stuff like that. It's not the highest end, but this is definitely adequate furniture and probably my most popular line that we make because it's affordable. So that's about it. So we're going to just finish these up, and we're going to also we're going to be staining the top weathered gray. This set just Varathane's weather gray. We're going to be staining these. And then we're going to just mount the tops and bottom shelves, and pretty much that's it. Okay, so all the tops and bottoms are stained weather gray, and the frames are all painted with 3 coats. Well, 1 coat of primer and 2 coats of paint. Just some ultra white paint, nothing special. These are rustic farmhouse, so there's going to be some imperfections, a little roughness, but these come out real nice. These real clean for the most part. This poplar is really nice. It stains well. It shows the weather a little better than the pine. Pine sometimes looks just a little more gray. Poplar has a little bit more of like a weathered look, like the title says. It shows a little more of the patterns of the wood, the browns and the greens. Sometimes even the purplish. You can see here some purplish. So it's a real cool looking look. So these are the bottoms for coffee tables and the end tables, and the tops are out there drying with the frames. So we'll let these sit for a couple hours, and then we'll put some. We'll mount the bottoms and tops, and then put some finish on them. So we're gonna put the C clips in. Now we're going to use our self-centered drill bit here. I'm just going to start drilling out just a little bit. Now we're going to take our impact driver, we're going to drive a couple screws in, not all the way. Then we'll hand tighten. Okay, so now we have our top on. We're going to flip this over, right side up. And now we're going to put our bottom shelves in. Pop these in. Alright, we're going to let this dry. We have the 2 end tables out here. Same thing.